Hello, and welcome to the Book Doctor's YouTube channel, where we come to you from Kauai.
Kauai, the Garden Island at the Kauai Writers Festival. Conference. Which, by the way, is so awesome.
So, we're going to talk about fear today.
The only thing you have to fear is fear itself. Someone very famous said that. She thinks it's Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I think it's either Winston Churchill or Mick Jagger. I'm not sure which.
And you're wrong.
Okay. So, fear. In fact, that statement is not true when it comes to publishing, that the only thing you have to fear is fear itself. In fact, you have many, many things to fear when it comes to entering the world of publishing. You want to be a professional author, you have the fear of rejection. You have the fear of people laughing in your face and telling you you're a horrible writer and you're stupid and what the hell are you doing anyway?
Yep.
You have the fear when your book actually comes out that people are going to say terrible things about your book.
Or they're going to say nothing at all.
Or you're going to be ignored. I would actually rather have someone say something horrible than to be ignored.
Yeah.
We both have had terrible, terrible things said about us.
Yeah. And the fear of rejection period is what looms the largest of all the fears of writers. And it's a very real fear because you will get rejected.
You will get rejected. But we have so many of our clients who don't put themselves out there because they're afraid.
Yep.
And in fact, it's a big impediment to many people's dreams of becoming a professional author. So we wanted to address this and maybe give you some ways of dealing with your fear. Many people that we work with have had great careers in other things, and they've overcome great odds to become the person they are. So as you face this fear, think back on the things that you have accomplished, on the things that you have risen above, things that obstacles that you have surmounted in order to succeed at whatever you've succeeded at. Try to imagine those same skills brought into the world of publishing.
And also the trials that you had to go through in order to become skilled. None of us go into a job and just know how to do it from the first day we enter the field. You learn, you become better, you have more learning, you then start, maybe you have a mentor. There's a whole process involved, and somehow people think just because they know how to write a sentence on a page that somehow means they know how to publish a book.
Yes, to write a book and to get it published. And writing a book, of course, is a very different skill than getting it published.
Exactly, and this is an entire industry that has its own language and quirks and everything, and part of your job is to learn about this industry. And that takes a long, long time. It's not something that happens automatically.
And we also suggest that you join a writers group. Get yourself in a community of writers where you can tell war stories. One of the most fun things in my writers group in San Francisco was that after every time we'd meet on a Tuesday, afterwards we'd all go out for a drink somewhere in a bar. And we'd start telling our war stories. You're not going to believe what this agent said to me. Oh yeah? Well, listen to what this guy said to me. And all of a sudden you start like topping each other on the worst things that have happened to you.
Yep.
And it's a way of seeing like you're not alone. Everybody goes through this.
And creating support groups of all different kind, whether it is a writer's group. We're teaching a class here this week, and one of the people in the class just said, oh, let's create a private Facebook page so we can share our trials and tribulations of getting published. Each person is writing a completely different kind of book. So it's not like, they're reading each other's things. It's simply for the support provided.
And everybody has to come up with their own way of dealing with rejection. And oftentimes, when you look around you and you see and you talk to people who've been rejected, the greatest writers in the world, no one would publish Ulysses by James Joyce. Nobody. Named the novel of the century. So this is the guy who wrote the greatest book, arguably, greatest novel of the 20th century, and yet no one would publish that book. So what makes you think that someone's going to automatically take your book on? Of course you're going to get rejected. And part of this is learning, using rejection as a way of learning what you can make better, how you can improve your book, your methods of getting published, your methods of promoting and marketing your book. It's also fun we have an author friend named Dan Rhodes who reads the worst things that have ever been written about him at the start of each of his events. And it's so fun, like to revel in the great rejections that you get. Use your sense of humor and develop your sense of comedy around your rejections. That's going to help immensely.
So we want you to face your fears.
Yes.
There's, as David said, these are real. You know, there are certain fears that writers have that aren't real, that have to do with lack of self-confidence. You need to face those as well, because if you face them, you can overcome them or use them to fuel the process of getting published.
Absolutely.
So if you have any thoughts about how you've overcome fears or questions,
send us your rejection stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Put them in the comments
Put them in the
section.
comments. Ask us other questions. If you're also wondering why David is wearing sunglasses in this video, it's not only because we're in Kauai, but he had retinal surgery.
Yeah, he did.
So I think he also likes to look cool in them. But
well, it's a whole coordination thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. So anyway, we'll see you at the bookstore.
Aloha. See you at the bookstore.
Aloha.